All right, welcome back to the Green Line Gazette, episode 30. We are be covering our way too early CFB top 25. We're joined here by I think just some OG guests, right? We got Jake, episode 1. We got Maxwell. Max, what was your first appearance? Was that
My first appearance was Final Four, so it wasn't too early, but it was an absolute howler for me. I had Michigan, I think, losing by 30 in their semifinal game, so that didn't go well. But we're
and
keeping
then
up with the Michigan hate today.
yeah, and then of course we're joined by Pat Bloomquist, who was also a member of one of our earlier episodes. Pat, you were also a college basketball one, if I remember.
Yeah, I had
Correct.
Michigan losing in the round of 64, actually.
Right, that's right. Yeah. Or who was it? Was it Howard that was supposed to take him down? Or
I think it was Howard. Yeah.
right, Ace. You remember your boy's name, Ace, whatever, from you came on here anyway. Pat came on
no,
here
it
quite
was
some time
UMBC.
ago.
It was
Oh yeah, your boy
UMBC.
Ace from UMBC. So he drops you a calm 23 piece any night, and I think he had maybe 8 points, and they lost. Anyway. We are back, episode 30. Remember, on Apple, Spotify, YouTube, and Substack. So tune in there. Follow us on Instagram. We just went through the rebrand. We're filming from home today before we move back to school. But without further ado, gentlemen, how are we doing? How are we feeling?
Feeling
Feeling
good.
good. I'm ready for the
Wonderful.
season to start.
Yeah.
I know. It's the first game, the 28th for like all college football.
TCU plays in
Something like
Ireland
that.
this weekend.
So yeah, 28th, 29th, something like that. Who's TCU playing?
UNC.
Yeah.
Shout out
They,
Belichick.
because I remember last year that was the first game of the season too, I think, and it was like my 21st birthday, so I put my first bet on UNC, and I think they lost 41 to
Yeah,
7.
they got killed.
Yeah.
To who? To also TCU or
Yeah, I think it was like a 2-game series or something like
Oh,
that.
Jesus. All righty. Well, looking forward to the season starting up, no doubt about that. BC kicks off September, I believe, 5th against Cincinnati. We'll get into that at a later date, but we're going to be going through the top 25 to 10. We're kind of going to just breeze through our 25 to 11, just because there's not too much to say, and we're really going to hone in on this top 10 as we get there. But I guess we'll start in the 25th spot. I got Houston coming out the Big 12. I have them going 9-3. They had a huge year under Willie Fritz last year, 10-3. They lost Tanner Kojal though, which is their monster tight end. They have Mekhi Hughes back. If you guys don't know who that was, he did 2 years at Tulane, absolutely ripped it up, went to Oregon, and then just sat bench, transferred out again. So they're bringing back that offensive production. They run into a pretty tough Big 12 schedule, in my opinion. So that's why I have them losing at Utah, first Oklahoma State, and then at Texas Tech, but still a formidable top 25 team nonetheless, in my opinion.
Yeah, I like that. I guess I'll just read I'll go 25 through 20 and then just talk about one or two teams. I got Virginia Tech at 25, then I have Navy, Nebraska, Illinois, Penn State at 21, and BYU at 20. I guess the first thing I'd say, I like Virginia Tech. They just got James Franklin. He brought a bunch of guys over from Penn State. They were super talented last year, just didn't put the pieces together. But he has 12 players from there. He flipped 11 recruits. He knows the area recruiting well, so I think that program's going to be good. They're also in the ACC, and ACC is notoriously weak. Right now, you literally have Miami, maybe Virginia this year. Obviously, BC's in that conversation too.
Respect,
outside of
respect,
that,
respect.
I mean, they could win a lot of games. I could see them winning 9 or 10 games this year. So I have them at 25. Always have to have Navy in your top 25. Just great defense, run the ball really well. They're gonna have a great fullback. And yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with that. The ACC is probably the weakest it's been. I think in recent memory, the Clemson fall off now. They're not ranked inside the AP top 25. It's literally, I have Louisville as the team to fill that power vacuum, but right, that could be Louisville, it could be Virginia Tech, Jake shaking his head. It could be a lot of teams, but it's really only Miami.
Actually, I've Clemson at 19. I think Clemson's going to be better this year. No, listen. Last year, I mean, Dabo's notoriously, ever since this transfer portal stuff, he's hated it. He's tried to go against it. He wants to recruit his guys, keep his guys there, and that hasn't worked. This year, he finally got in the portal. He got 10 guys, and they got a new QB. He's been there 4 years, Christopher Vazina. Obviously, Cade Klubnik left, but he didn't have that great of a season last year, so I don't really know how much you're missing there. I can see them turn it around this year, and as we said, the ACC is very weak, so they could be a team to watch.
If they get out on the right foot against LSU week 1, right, that could be huge. But, I mean, that's a fair point. I'm looking at their schedule now. I'm not seeing many tough games. I see LSU. I see maybe a South Carolina team that, could be iffy, Virginia Tech, and then Miami. So maybe not the worst shout. But I just wanted your reasoning. What's your reasoning on BYU? Because I have them a little higher than you said. You said 20th?
Yeah, I mean, I don't really know much about them. I know they had a good season last year. They obviously don't play in a great conference. LJ Martin's a really good running back for them. I just want to I want to watch the games first and see how they look. It's going to be tough to I think they're going to win 11 games, but like they did last year. And then who knows how good they really are, but that's why I had them at 20. I think the other teams in the Big Ten or the SEC, they're just going to be more proven. They have more guys.
I think BYU has dumpster fire potential. I have them at 22 to start, but their coach recently, he didn't take the Penn State job. He's been open about how all their NIL money is going to basketball and not football. And it just seems like there's a divide in the athletic department. So I think that's a team that has boom potential, but I also think they could fall on their face and their coach could be gone.
They do have a big prospect coming in the basketball team though, Jackson Kohler. I mean, talk about a stud. He's gonna bring some positive energy there. I guess I'll read through my 25 through 20. I have Boise State, Missouri, Florida, Clemson, Louisville, and then Utah. Boise State's decent in my top 25. Do I think they're the 25th best team in the country? Probably not. But looking at their schedule, their only game that they should lose is, Oregon. They're in the new revamped Pac-12, however you want to look at that. But Oregon's the only game really that they should lose, I think. So I think they sneak up there at the end of the year, possibly a Go 5 playoff team, but we'll see. All the other teams like Clemson and Louisville, I think those are the most 9-3 teams I've ever seen coming out of the ACC. I think Florida will have a okay year. I think that Florida is always a team that I'm really high on to go into the year just because they have all that, the brand name, whatever, and then they disappoint me all the time. But I think they'll be better this year.
So yeah, I'm gonna have to disagree with you. I have Louisville going 11-2 with that second loss coming to Miami in the ACC championship game. If you want to look at their schedule, they'll lose to Ole Miss week 1, right? It's kind of unavoidable in my opinion. That's probably the the angriest team in college football right now. But then they go Villanova, trash, SMU, overrated, Wake Forest, NC State, Florida State, Syracuse, Stanford, Georgia Tech, UNC, Pitt. And then they finish off the season with a win at Kentucky, of course. Just like a very weak schedule. I think people are sleeping on Louisville. I think they're going to be the new Clemson. I think the days of Dabo Swinney are in the past, in my opinion.
And they get to avoid BC this year, huh? They don't get that.
Yep, that's right. There's a sleeping giant. Loss. There's a sleeping giant in Chestnut Hill.
They have a free win to close out the year at Kentucky. So
that's what I'm saying. And they returned Isaac Brown 8.5 yards a carry. That dude's a beast. Ohio State transfer. I'm sure Pat knows about. How do you say it? Lincoln Kienholz.
Kienholz. He's good. He can't throw the ball, but he's a really good runner.
So maybe he's not a good quarterback.
Yeah, he could be the next Lamar Jackson for the Louisville.
He didn't play much at Ohio State, but he was always a guy you liked,
Yeah. Okay. So, under Jeff Brom's quarterback, kind of favored system there, maybe Lincoln Kienholz does a little better. They add Kienholz. Yeah, my bad. They add Trey Richardson, the wide receiver transfer from Vandy, and then Brody Foley, the Tulsa tight end transfer to help him out. But I think with a weak ACC, and they dodged the bigger teams like Boston College, of course. So I think
the ACC is so bad.
It's actually horrible. It's horrible.
It's horrible. Virginia won it last year. It's the worst.
Duke.
Duke. What am I saying?
8-6, Duke.
Yeah.
Maybe 9-5. Maybe they won their bowl
Duke,
game.
Virginia in the game.
Yeah, not even Miami. It's an ugly conference. But I guess before we move on, just my 25 to 20, it was Houston. I have SMU And then I have Liberty and Navy, right? You always get your G5 teams that will sneak in there. Maxwell made a little face there. I think Navy is
Liberty?
a 12-1 team. You want? I could read you Liberty's schedule.
Sure. I mean, I'm sure they play nobody.
I'm telling you, hey, Liberty's set up for they could go 13-0.
Okay,
very well.
When going back to Louisville, when they go to Ole Miss and lose by or when they play Ole Miss and lose by 30, are you still going to be high on them?
Yeah, because they play a horrible and they're not going to lose by 30, but they're going to lose, and then they'll be fine for the rest of the year. And we know the committee likes to ignore early season losses, right? Alabama made the playoff last year after losing to Florida State, who went. If anyone knows Florida State's record last year, might have been 3-9, 4-8 last year.
Hey, they started off like 3-0 though.
Beat Alabama.
Yeah, but then they let Alabama in the playoff.
That's what happens when you have a
9-3.
transfer quarterback coming from BC. I mean, you're never going to win.
Yeah, and then they lost to Indiana 52-10 or something.
All right. Well, I guess I'll rip through mine quickly. At 25, I have Cal. Then 24, Iowa. Then Utah, BYU, SMU, and Missouri at 20. Cal, I just like their quarterback. He's cool. He's a lefty. I think they'll be in the top 25. Then the only other one I have is Iowa. They're an automatic 9-3 every year. They will be in the top 25 every year. And it's just like, if you don't have them in your top 25, you're just not a smart college football fan.
Agreed.
I have them at 21. They're just
I have them at 14.
Ooh, I mean, I think they're just kind of stuck between 20 and 25 for they're just doomed for the rest of time. But they have a tough schedule this year, right? So
I think I left them out of my top 25 because I think they oh no, they don't have to play Michigan State, so they didn't get that. They didn't get that extra loss.
Thank God. Yeah, thank God. But there's losses probably at Michigan versus Ohio State. Going to Washington is probably a loss, and then I know which one of you has Nebraska in the.
I got Nebraska.
Right.
Nebraska's always solid. Nebraska, Illinois.
Is that 2016?
No. They were ranked last year. I mean, they lost Dylan Raiola, but he wasn't very good for them.
You mean Patrick
Mahomes?
Patty Mahomes. That's Mahomes.
Is he went to Oregon, right?
Yeah, he went to Oregon and backed up Dante Moore.
Dante Moore.
Yeah, this guy, he's actually
Moore was
genius.
supposed to go to the draft.
Got that bag.
Probably. Anybody else have anything any strong opinions they'd like to voice about
Michigan
their
State
25?
I did want to say Michigan State was an honorable mention for me. I think I got sent 8 posts saying that Scotty Scheffler had more wins than them since 2021.
Yeah.
But Pat Fitzgerald's turning this program around. And we're 9-3.
I saw the exact same post for since February 2022. BC has 19 wins and Scotty Scheffler has 21. So
is Fitzgerald going to verbally assault his players again?
I think that was deemed to be inaccurate information.
Okay. Just asking questions.
I think
doing some investigative journalism.
He became the scapegoat of an unfortunate situation.
I'm a big J journalist, so.
I guess before we move on, I want to get your guys' take here. I have Washington at 20. They have an absolute gauntlet. So they go to USC, then Iowa, then of course I guess Nebraska, whoever's high on Nebraska, maybe just Pat. Then they go to Penn State and Michigan State and Indiana and Oregon. I have them going 9-3. I think they lose to Oregon, USC, and Iowa, but I think they're going to beat Indiana. That's at home. Washington is 23-2 at home since 2023. Michigan State's, it's Michigan State. Sorry. Penn State, I'm not too sold on the Rocco Beck, Matt Campbell experiment that's going on there. And then I guess if Pat wants to defend Nebraska, you're more than welcome to do that.
I was going to defend Washington a little bit. I have them a little higher because I think they're
good.
Their quarterback, Damon Williams Jr., he played Ohio State last year, and he didn't have a great game, but he's Heisman potential. He can run the ball really well. He has a good arm. They lost David Boston, who was their best receiver last year. But Washington's a tough place to play, especially in the Big Ten. These teams in the Big Ten that have to play at Washington, they have to travel there. I agree. I think I could see them going 9-3, maybe even 10-2.
I also have Washington high. I have them at 15. This is another one I think is boomer bust because Damon Williams does not want to be there. He tried
Yeah,
to get
that's
out of his
true.
NIL deal.
Yeah, he couldn't get out.
They basically held him hostage for $4 million. So
Yeah, what a horrible situation.
I think he's really good, but I think they lose a game they shouldn't lose early. This thing could fall apart quickly.
Yeah. I like that take.
I mean, there's early games there. Minnesota, right? That's always a wild card. Like they're perennially also like a 7-5 type of team or 7-6, whatever. But I could see the wheels falling off there. USC, right? And then just that tough stretch at the end for sure. But I guess moving on, we'll do our 19 through, I guess we'll go 19 through 15. I think that makes the most sense. So I have some teams coming in hot here. I have last year's 2-10 Oklahoma State team firing in at 19 and just running amok in the Big 12. I'm really high on Oklahoma State right now.
Does it have anything to do with their coach shooting an armadillo in his backyard?
I'm glad we all
FCS
got the
quarterback.
Whoa, let's slow down because Eric Morris, North Texas, and Mestomaker, excuse me, and literally the entire North Texas roster are now Oklahoma State. And now that they have the resources, they got the money, they have a weak Big Ten schedule. They're going to lose to Oregon in week 2, and they're going to lose to Texas Tech. But as for the rest of their conference schedule, they dodge all the big boys like BYU and Utah. They get to play a depleted Arizona State team who's a shell of their former self. They get the Iowa State team that lost 55 players. And then you get Murray State, West Virginia, UCF, Houston, Deion Sanders in Colorado, Iowa State, K-State, and then Kansas. Like I really see no Big 12 chip game, but I see Oklahoma State going 10-2 this year.
So they have all these resources, but they took the North Texas roster.
Well, do you know how good North Texas was last year? Well, that's a discussion for another day. But Eric Morris is a genius.
Wait, let me know how good
Texas
North
ain't
Texas
no Big 12. Ain't no Big 12.
Big 12's weak. It's just like the ACC, man. I mean, outside of they miss BYU, they miss Utah, and they just have to play Texas Tech. That's their only Go ahead.
I don't think Utah is going to be that good. They just lost their coach to Michigan.
I agree.
He brought all his players, so.
The AP poll has Utah, I think, ranked, right? Is that correct?
They're like 18th or something.
Yeah, which I think they're still going to be good, just not great, and definitely missing Utah. It's never a bad thing. I also have I have UCLA coming in at 18. Bob Chesney, Holy Cross coach, went to JMU. This dude is gross. Nico Yamalava, however you want to say his last name, disgusting.
Stinks.
Oh, no.
He stinks.
They
Tennessee didn't want him.
Tennessee, they wanted. They had a contract dispute. Okay, it's not that they didn't want him. He just wanted. He thought he was worth more money, and I guess they didn't think that. And now he's on to bigger and better things with Bob Chesney, who's a fantastic coach. They're going to go 9-3. They're going to lose to Michigan, USC, and Oregon. But outside of that, they really have a light Big Ten schedule. They get Illinois, Minnesota, Nevada, Michigan State, Wisconsin, Maryland, Purdue, and Cal.
All right,
out of conference.
I'm gonna defend you a little bit because one of my buddies is he's working with the football team. He goes there, and I was
insider. Hold on, wait a minute.
Little inside information. I was kind of asking him how they're gonna be, and they do have a weak Big Ten schedule. I'll give you that. I was saying they could go 8-4, 9-3, but their team. He's their team is not that good.
Whoa.
I mean, he thinks the UCLA Cal's game. He thinks that they're not gonna be favored in that. He thinks Cal's a better team. So, I mean, we'll see. But
your boy might get fired. I mean.
Hey, inside intel.
Hey, I'm telling you, man, Bob Chesney's
names.
the truth. He's the truth, man. 40+ ads in the portal. We haven't seen this team before. They have Derek Carr working with.
That's not.
Hey, come on. They got Derek Carr working with the quarterbacks now. I mean,
is that a good thing?
He was very good.
Derek Carr was a great quarterback. What are we talking? It's like revisionist history if we're going to pretend like Derek Carr did not have a good career in the NFL. I mean, sure, his back end years with the Saints were.
Yeah, suicide balls to Chris Olave, man.
I think that Brian Hoyer would have the same career as him if he had gotten the same shot.
Great take.
That
Thank
is
you,
great
Jake. I appreciate it.
That's horrible. I also think their potential 3 losses here to USC, Michigan, and Oregon. I think all those teams are going to be ranked within the top 15 at the end of the year, which is just going to bolster UCLA's resume when they take care of business in their week schedule. So I
If
mean,
they have a good season, their 25 fans are going to be pumped.
hey man, Bob Chesney's a culture changer. We can come back to this in due time at the end of the season. Will give me my flowers. But anyway, 17, I have their neighbor. I have USC. I think this is Lincoln Riley's most talented team that he's ever had at USC. I just think they just, again, similar to a lot of these Big Ten teams, they run into Oregon, Ohio State, and Indiana. And I don't think they're at that level yet. I'm a little iffy on Miava, the second year quarterback. I know Lincoln Riley, right, has a great track record of producing awesome quarterbacks, but again, I'm sure I don't know what you guys think, but I just kind of think Oregon, Ohio State, Indiana are just the teams to be in. Although this is their best roster in quite some time, I don't think they're there yet to do that.
I do think that their week 4 or week 5, whatever, game against Oregon is going to be a good, because they're both going to be 3-0 going into it. And it's at USC, and I think that's going to be a good game. I'm excited for that.
Yeah, I think Mayav is actually pretty good. He led the Big Ten in passing yards last year. He had 3,700. I think their receiver room's really good. They brought in a couple transfers, and I think they got a couple highly touted recruits. And he's obviously a good offensive coach. Their defense, though, that seems to be the thing that holds them back every year. They never seem to have a good defense. So yeah, I have them at 18. I think you said you had them at 17.
Yeah.
I mean, we'll see about them. I mean, if they get a big win early, I don't know when do they play Ohio State or Oregon?
So they play Oregon week 5. We can assume they'll go 4-0 through their fodder stuff, but then it's tough, right? So it goes Oregon in week 5. They then have to play Washington week 6.
Yeah.
Then Penn State, then Wisconsin, who can always just kind of muck things up. And then they go Ohio State, Indiana back to back.
Yeah.
So they have
tough.
a brutal midseason stretch. I think I have them beating Penn State and Washington, but again, just with a schedule
think that
like
Oregon
that
game will tell us a lot about where that team's at. If they keep that close, then you never know with Indiana, Ohio State later down the road.
Yeah. And then
I think they kind of luck out a little bit. They get Oregon, Washington, and Ohio State all at home.
Yeah.
And then they have to go to Indiana, and Penn State, I guess. But who knows how good Penn State will be. But I have USC at my 15. I think they're going to have a pretty good year. And then I have Washington at 19, SMU, Tennessee, and BYU. So we've kind of covered a few of those teams, but I think that USC is going to have a 10-2 year. Could see that.
I think that's 11. Fair to say. Whoa!
I think they're going to beat Ohio State at home. I think they're going to beat Oregon at home. I think they're going to go 10-2. They'll slip up somewhere, probably at Penn State. But I really think.
Did I just hear USC will beat Ohio State?
Yes.
Oh no!
Is that Ohio State's only win? Only loss?
Yeah, probably.
I will be absolutely shocked.
Ohio State Loki has a gauntlet this year.
I mean, yeah, but Ohio State's. I think they're built. I think they're built for that.
We'll get to them. We'll get to them. We'll get to them.
Yeah, and then I guess rounding this out, I'll let you guys go on this because I know some of you don't even have this team ranked. At my 16th ranked spot here, I have Michigan, who has a pretty tough Big Ten schedule and a lot of turmoil recently, but I know I'll let you guys talk because I know some of you don't even have Michigan in your T25.
Yeah, I guess I could start with this one. I mean, from an unbiased perspective,
right? Okay.
Coach Kyle Whittingham. I watched them a couple of times last year. I watched them play Ohio State. I thought Bryce Underwood was the worst quarterback I've ever seen. In any worse than any BC guy that I've seen. He was terrible.
Wow.
I don't think he can throw the ball. He genuinely can't. He throws it hard, 10 feet over the guy's head. He can run a little bit. Maybe move him to running back. They might have more success. But yeah, I have no confidence in that team whatsoever. They're not even. I wouldn't have them in my top 30 to be honest.
Well, I mean, I guess
I agree because I don't think Bryce Underwood's very good either. I mean, he's this highly touted guy, comes out of high school,
paying him $12 million.
He just has
12.5. Yeah,
the most bang average year you've ever seen from a quarterback, and at a very good school, and everyone's talking about him. But I think that since everyone loves Michigan so much, he goes under the radar of how not good of a season he had. It was not good at all, and maybe they'll have a good running game again, but I don't see Bryce Underwood leading this team to more than 9 wins. I say 8.5 is their line.
I mean, that's fair, right? So last year, 11 touchdowns to 9 interceptions, a 72.6 QBR. I mean, if you're paying a dude $12.5 million, like, there's got to be a reason. I think it was just a freshman hiccup. I think they run into the same big three. They run into, obviously, Ohio State and then Oregon and Indiana. I think they take care of business with Iowa. Oklahoma's interesting. They get to host Oklahoma week 2. I think that I have them winning that. That's why I have them ranked. But if they lose that, I would not be shocked if that derails just the whole train in week 2. Because
it's just like their whole program is just in athletic department. It's just in shambles.
Because Michigan
never
State
a
has
good
such a good
story.
reputation.
Michigan State's the good guys. Everybody knows that.
I have Michigan as my 10th ranked team in the country. People want to pile on Bryce Underwood. I mean, his coach is chasing tail the whole year. No one's going to perform well in that. And so, they weren't even that bad last year. I think Bryce Underwood, he has Andrew Marsh, I believe, with him this year, former Michigan State Spartan, chose the real school in Michigan. I think this team's loaded. I really like their offensive line, their defensive line, and I think they can make some noise. So
you're telling me because their coach was chasing tail that's why he threw 11 touchdowns and went what were they, 8-5, 7-5? Can I get a fact check on that?
I'll fact check
coaching.
I mean, if you're paying a guy $12.5 million, you shouldn't have to coach him. Right? He should be
he's a true freshman. Their coach was too worried about who's walking up and down the sideline.
I mean,
not an adult in the room. Kyle Whittingham or whatever his name is will turn it around.
So can you tell me? Can you break down their schedule for me? Because if they're going to finish in the top 10, that means they have to take a win from either Ohio State, Oregon, or Indiana. They're not going to be a 3-loss team. They beat Oregon.
They're going to beat Oregon?
Beat Oregon.
At Oregon?
Out of all the teams, I would have said Indiana. That's it. I don't even think I think Ohio State will
get
do
to
bad
those
things
teams
to them.
in the top.
Okay. 10. All right. Cool. Awesome. That rounds it out for me then. So I'll let you guys go ahead. But that was ending at 16 with Michigan there. So
yeah,
I looked it up why Bryce Underwood was so bad, and AI was really just hammering him. He said he bad footwork, got out of pockets too quickly, and threw the ball too hard to short routes. So that's not very.
Coaching can fix it.
Yeah,
he's throwing missiles at guys 5 yards away.
He's just Joe Milton, just in a Michigan jersey, I'm pretty sure. But we'll see. I have him at 16, but I'll let someone else go 19
I'll
to
just
16
rip
here.
through them. 19, I have Florida. 18, I have Houston. 17, I have Texas A&M. And 16, I have Ole Miss.
You have A&M and Ole Miss that low. Really?
I really don't think the A&M quarterback's all that good. He can't throw
Marcel Reed? You don't like Marcel Reed?
He kind of stinks. He's going to get hurt in week 3. Then that LVO, the quarterback, got hurt. But the team I really want to talk about is Ole Miss. Trinidad Chambliss, he played 2 good games, and now people think he's prime Tim Tebow in college. Can we get a full season with him not having Lane Kiffin hold his hand with a defensive-minded coach, and let's see what he looks like. I really think this team's fraudulent. I don't think they're all that good, and they may not even be the best team in their state.
Whoa, that's
I mean, so you're telling me Trinidad Chambliss, the guy that threw for basically 4,000 passing yards last year and 22 touchdowns and 13 interceptions.
And by the way, they have the best running back in college football too. Kawan Lacey, that guy is disgusting.
We'll see. I guess we'll see. I think Kamario Taylor greater than Trinidad Chambliss.
Jake, Trinidad had that kind of year when his coach was chasing tail all year, so I don't know what you're talking about.
We'll get to that later. That's one of my hot takes.
Trinidad Chambliss had 30 total touchdowns, 22 passing, 8 rushing, 3 interceptions, and 4,000 passing yards.
You put 500 UCLA at 17. I put Ole Miss at 16.
I got Ole Miss at 8.
I was just gonna say I got Ole Miss.
Bryce Underwood last year, his last 2 games of the year were Northwestern and Purdue. He threw for a combined 300 yards, 0 touchdowns, and 3 interceptions.
And where was his coach?
I
Some
think
Stafford.
I think he was at
I won't get into that.
the Ann Arbor holding cell.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So continue. What were you saying, Jake? Can we go through that again because we got a little derailed there?
Florida 19, Houston 18, A&M 17, Ole Miss 16.
You're really not buying I'm not buying the Florida stock. I don't even have them ranked. I don't know what you guys are.
I just like their coach.
It's the same thing every year. It's Florida. It's the same thing with Mizzou and Florida. They find themselves in the top 20 preseason, and then it's just miss a bowl game or go 7-5. I don't get it. I'm not with that.
I like Florida. They have character.
John Summerall.
They need. You know what they need is
They give them the character banner. Hang the banner because they just won 11 games.
They need something in their program like what's happening at Michigan. They need They need that to happen because that's when they're at their best. Is when they're committing.
When they're doing
fraud.
illegal things.
That's when they're at their best.
I mean, fair enough, right? Look at Georgia. What is that? 26 speeding related arrests since 2023, and I think they're in everybody's top 5. So maybe that's what Florida's missing. Maybe that's what Florida's missing. But
I don't understand why the Athens Police Department is so hard on them. Like, do they not want Georgia to win? Yeah, it doesn't make sense to me.
Well, no one's going to go to the Georgia games when everyone's afraid to drive to the Georgia games and everyone's got to stay off the road. So, I mean, maybe we could get the Athens Police Department on the pod soon and we could grill them on why they're hating so hard. But
That's true.
What do you got, Pat, Max? What do you guys have for your 19 to 16 here?
We already did. I'll just focus on one team, but I got Clemson at 19. I already talked about them a little. USC at 18. Virginia at 17, Washington at 16, and Tennessee at 15. I guess I'll focus on Virginia. It's a shout out to a couple of my buddies. They're in the ACC chip last year, but they got Bo Perbula coming from Mizzou. He's at Penn State before. He's a pretty good quarterback. He's like a 5th-year guy. They have a really old team. I think I looked it up. They have like the 10th oldest team in college football, and I feel like we're seeing success with a lot older teams now, especially with the 5th-year stuff, even 6th-year. Obviously, Indiana had a really old team last year. They also, if you look at Virginia's schedule, we already talked about how the ACC's weak. Like, Virginia genuinely, like, I could see them going undefeated. They don't play anybody. Like, they got Virginia Tech, and that's, like, all I see.
Do they miss Miami and, like, Boston College?
They miss Miami. They don't play Louisville. Obviously, they don't play
two
BC.
don't belong.
Like, they might have the weakest ACC schedule possible in an already weak ACC. Like, there's a chance they go undefeated.
And have you guys heard the story with Bo Perbula, and the James Franklin beef at Virginia Tech?
No, I haven't heard that.
So it came out probably, I think it was last week or 2 weeks ago. So Perbula was at Penn State under Franklin for like 3 years, and he was always like the backup to Drew Aller, and then whoever, I can't remember who was before Drew Aller, if you guys can recall.
Trace McSorley.
Nah, he was before.
On a dime.
Will Levis.
Levis.
No, he was Kentucky, wasn't he?
He was at Penn State.
Penn State, it was a revolving door there. But anyway, so last year, when Aller was there, right, it was Perbula, and then behind him at QB3 was Grunkemeyer, who is now the VT starting quarterback. Apparently, the story goes, according to Bo Perbula, that James Franklin called him up, got him a car service from York, Pennsylvania, or New York, wherever he's from, drove him all the way to Blacksburg to bring him on an official visit. On their way on that like 12-hour drive, he finds out that Grunkemeyer is also on campus. Before he even gets to campus, James Franklin commits Grunkemeyer and basically makes him the QB1 and tells him to go home. Then turns around, goes to UVA because there's nowhere else to go. UVA now plays VT, and I think Bo Perbula is just gonna rip out their throat.
I think that's the last game of the season too for them.
Like, I'd probably be the angriest person in the world if my former head coach drove me out from my home and then committed my former backup before I even got to campus. Like, it's a little shady business by Franklin, but I thought I'd throw that in there. But I mean, if their schedule is that weak, are you being serious? Like you do see
Yeah, I'm
a
being
road
serious.
to undefeated and then
Yeah.
probably facing Miami in the ACC chip?
Yeah, I know the ACC last year, they had a weird, like, their conference championship game was like a weird format where even though Miami was like tied with the other teams, they didn't get into the final even though they had a better record. They switched it this year, whereas like if it was this season's rules, Miami would have gotten in. So I see them playing Miami. They'll lose in that game, but like an 11-1 or whatever, 12-1 Virginia team could get into the playoff for sure.
Yeah, I mean, especially if that only loss comes to Miami, they're
In a
not going
conference
to they're not
championship game,
they're not
which,
going to
like,
keep them out of the playoff for losing the conference championship. So that could be interesting. That's a fair point. Maxie, what do you got?
Well, I mean, I guess I already read my 19 through 15, but we kind of highlighted all the teams. The only two we haven't that it's in there is SMU and Tennessee. I'm not going to pretend like I know too much about them, especially SMU. I guess they don't have too hard of a schedule, but like they're just kind of one of those teams I threw in there because I was like, oh, they're in the AP. They must be good, right?
I mean, you could really do that like for any like half decent ACC team. Like genuinely, any of them could end up ranked just because of how much of a stink
I mean,
fest.
they
the
kind of
ACC
get
is.
unlucky because they have to play Notre Dame later in the year, which could hurt their chances.
Yeah.
Of whatever. But the only other
I mean,
good team they play is
so does BC.
Louisville.
BC's going to soften up Notre Dame, probably upsetting them in South Bend, and then we'll let SMU finish the job. But all right,
Yeah.
going into 15 through 11 here, I have Louisville, right? We talked about this. I think they're filling that power vacuum that's left by Clemson. I think Jeff Brom's really cooking something up here. They're next up. I have BYU coming in at 14. I feel like are always a top 10, top 20 type of team. They have to play Notre Dame, which is going to be tough. But again, they have a pretty easy Big 12 schedule, right? They dodge Texas Tech. They play a Utah team, which is probably going to be pretty mid. I have them going to the Big 12 chip as a 2-loss team with 1 conference loss to Texas Tech, and then, of course, Notre Dame. So I can see them coming in at 14 just because, like the ACC, Big 12 kind of sucks. I have Oklahoma at 13. I think Oklahoma probably has one of the hardest schedules in the country. That's no shade on Mateer and co, but they probably will go 9-3, but those 3 losses are going to come to probably a top 10 Texas A&M team, a top 10 Texas team, and then a top 10, probably top 5 Georgia team. They also, like we said, play Michigan week 2. They have to still, I have them beating Mizzou, Ole Miss, and Florida. Those could all be losses as well. They have to play the most feared Kentucky midseason after the Texas game. Right.
Team.
I know Kentucky can kind of muck things up, right? After a 2-game stretch at Georgia and then versus Texas, right? I mean, Kentucky could pounce. I think Oklahoma is going to be really good. I just think they genuinely play the hardest schedule in the country. I then have LSU coming in after that. Again, similar thing. I think they're going to lose to Ole Miss. I think Ole Miss is the most fired up, angry team in the country. They then have to play A&M the week after. They're going to lose there, but then they kind of float through the rest of the season. I have them beating Alabama and Texas and Tennessee in the last 3 of their 4 games. And then before we get into the top 10, I have Ole Miss coming in at 11 here for similar reasons. Again, really hard SEC schedule, but they're going to pick up wins against LSU, against Louisville, who I think is going to be ranked, and that's going to lift their resume. And then their losses will probably be to top 10 teams. So that's what I'm going. We're getting into like the SEC teams who, probably are better than their record. Will
Overrated.
leave. All right.
It means more.
I think it genuinely does here. Like, I mean, you can't tell me that you could take. I think if you take Miami and you put them in Oklahoma, I think Miami's a 4-loss team with Oklahoma's schedule. Do we think that's fair to say?
Yeah.
Love that take.
I don't think Miami's going to be that good this year.
Yeah, like I think Texas Tech is a 4-loss team with Oklahoma's schedule, and Texas Tech is probably going to win the Big 12, and they're probably going undefeated because of how easy their schedule is. So I think you're going to see a lot of 9-3 SEC teams. What's your guys' take on this? I think this is the year we see a 9-3 team make the college football playoff. It almost happened last year with Texas. Again, with all these SEC teams playing each other, and we know how ESPN loves the SEC. I genuinely will not be surprised if you see a 9-3 Oklahoma team getting that last at-large bid.
I can see that happening. I don't like it's leaning more and more towards it every single year. Like Texas last year, like there's no reason they should be in the conversation for it. Like it was just stupid.
Texas
But I
almost
guess-
lost to Kentucky last year.
No, but
right.
that's the way college football goes. But I mean, what are you gonna do?
It was a great game. Great game.
Now
All
they're
right.
trying to get every soon enough. It's just going to be an SEC. NCAA is just going to be called the SEC because like they're expanding the NCAA basketball tournament to 78 just so they get more SEC teams in.
Yeah, so Boston College can get it.
They're trying to make
We
the
need
playoff 20. The playoff's going to be 24 teams like next year, I think.
And it's going to be like 8 SEC teams too.
Yeah.
Too bad
Well-
BC won't have announcers if they make the college basketball tournament.
Well, it's going to be me. It's going to be me at WZBC Sports. So I'm happy to fill in for Luke Murray. But all right, you guys,
did you comment on why that happened? Did you make a comment? Did the GLG
that was the last pod. That was episode 29 was a commentary on the Luke Murray situation, which we deemed
I did see
investigative prowess deemed it was not his fault, and it was actually Blake James and the admin's fault. So he's cleared of all wrongdoing. And then we also deemed that the announcers were probably lying because they're a little butthurt that Blake James shipped him off. But anyway, I digress. I'll let you guys go. 15-11 here.
I guess I could go at 15. I have or at 14. I guess I said at 14. I have Penn State. I think that they have a pretty easy schedule this year. They avoid essentially all the big dogs in the Big Ten. They don't play Ohio State. They don't play Ohio State, Indiana, or Oregon, and they have Michigan, who's they're going to beat, and they have USC and Washington. But other than that, I don't think they have too hard of a schedule. And whoever they play in their whiteout game, that whiteout game at Penn State is going to be unreal now. I tell you what.
Pablo Pledge-Escobar will be watching from State Penitentiary. That will be electric.
It's gonna be hopefully it's like against like Michigan or something like that. It'd be fun. That last way out they had against Michigan. I still watch that clip all the time with Mo Bamba playing. It's unreal. Then I have Texas Tech at 13. I mean, are they better than like the teams above them? Probably not. But are they going to go undefeated? Probably. Like it's whatever.
So you have an undefeated Big 12 team coming.
I'm making my rankings based on how good I think they are, and I think they're not bad.
Okay,
but
that's fair.
I think they'll probably be a top 4 team by the end of the year, just because of how it works. But then, I don't think they're gonna. I still think what's his name should be their quarterback.
Storsby?
Let him bet. It's fine. Let him bet.
I mean, hey, if he's betting on himself to win, like,
it's not even that good.
Yeah, what 3,000 bets or something?
3,000 bets for 90 grand. I mean, with the money that's floating around in college football these days, it's really not a problem. But
I think the question is, was he winning the bets? Like, did they say?
Well, most of these bets were made when he was a backup at
Indiana.
At Indiana, yeah.
But was he winning?
Playing.
So yeah, he must have not been winning. If he was betting on Indiana back then, I can't imagine he was winning too many of them.
Or he was just fading his own team. Like that would be genius. Like,
but like if I would have said if he was losing his bet, just let him keep doing it. Who cares? And then I have Alabama at 12, and then Oklahoma at 11. I think Oklahoma is going to be just like you said. They're going to be fine. Nothing special. I think they will beat Michigan. The way I'm talking, I think I'm saying Michigan's going to win 3 games. I don't think that's going to happen, but I don't think they're going to be that good.
I mean, Bryce under Dookie I think he is kind of that bad, but I think Michigan.
He's not that bad. All right.
I think he is that dude. I think
there's some bias and he's not that bad, but
bias.
Yeah,
bias
about me saying that he's going to be bad, but he's not that bad.
I think he's that bad. Pat, what do you think? Do you think Bryce Underpants is bad?
I told unbiased take. I think he's the worst quarterback I've ever seen. Like he's awful. I hope he stays. Like I hope they keep him around for 4 years. To be honest,
just so you can farm the game wins, so you could get your get backs after the.
I mean, at least the scheme. I mean, we only have to scheme for running the ball. Like we don't. No pass scheme.
I mean,
Davis Warren beat you.
We could also we'll talk about this later. How Julian Sain's going to hold back Ohio State, so we're not going to throw stones in the glass house.
I kind of agree there a little bit.
So we're
They
switching
kept
up
the
on our
wrong
team.
guy.
No, I was saying that last year. I mean, he's a good player. I don't think he's great. We can get to that later, but I don't think he's great. We can get to that later, but
He's like Ty
Okay.
Simpson.
QB1.
Hey, Ty. People said that Ty Simpson was slinging in his Rams preseason game or whatever. So I don't
Looking
know if we
great
can
on
hit
my
on him.
fantasy team right now.
That was one of your picks,
Ty,
Jake?
Ty Simpson is on your fantasy team.
Dynasty League. Dynasty
yeah,
League.
that makes sense.
First round pick.
That's charity. That's a donation. Yeah, thank you. That's a reach. All right, who's up next here for their?
I can
did
go
you finish,
quick.
Maxie?
Go ahead,
Are you
Pat.
done? Okay.
Yeah, I'm
I got
finished.
Tennessee at 15. We already talked about them a little bit. Iowa, I already wanted them. I think, like as we said, their defense is really good. Kirk Ferentz has been there for 40 years, like 28 or something. I have Alabama at 13. They could be higher, they could be lower. I just don't know about them this year. Kellen DeBoer there, he's kind of had like an iffy time there. They have a new quarterback they just named. I think he's a true freshman. He's like a 5-star.
Keelan Russell.
So we'll see. Maybe he's really good. Maybe he's not. I think they have a lot of question marks. Obviously, Ryan Coleman was supposed to be a generational wide receiver. He kind of struggled at times last year, had trouble catching the ball, but the talent's there.
Ryan
yeah.
Williams.
Ryan Coleman Williams.
Coleman Williams now.
Oh, yeah, that's right. I forgot he got married. Is
Yeah.
that the name change? Is that what happened?
Yeah.
RCW. The kids are calling him.
I got A&M at 12 and then Miami at 11. So Miami, we talk ACC's weak. They have two of the best skill players, I think, in college football with Malachi Toney. I mean, that guy's a stud. And Mark Fletcher, he's a really good running back for them. They got the quarterback transfer from Duke, Darian Mensah. He was pretty good. But they only returned like 8 starters from their team last year. They had a lot of turnover. So I think similar to Alabama, they have a lot of question marks, and we'll kind of see how they gel together. Mario Cristobal is a good coach. I was really impressed with them last year in the college football playoff. I wasn't sure about them coming in, but they were a very physical team. Malachi Toney went off every single game, Mark Fletcher as well, and they both are coming back. They lose Carson Beck, but I don't think that's that big of a loss. I think Darian Mensah will be just as good, maybe even better than him. But I have them at 11, and they could be a team that's like top 5 at the end of the season, but I think they still have some question marks.
Yeah, I think their defense takes a hit, too, especially on the line with Akeem Mizador and then Ruben Bain leaving. That's going to be except I did see the thing. Their entire D-line is comprised of consensus 5 stars, which is nuts. Some of those guys haven't played yet. So, like, who really knows, right? Bryce Underwood was a 5-star if we want to go back to that. But they did seem to reload. Darian Mensah, I think, is going to be better than Carson Beck. But, you really never know. I don't really trust Mario Cristobal, in my opinion.
Fair.
I think he's kind of a bonehead. But, I mean, they have so much raw talent that it's hard to see him.
I feel like he's like a really good position coach, but I don't really know about him as a head coach.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think that's a great take.
All right, then I guess I'll go. Or if you're done, Pat, or if
You're good.
All right, so I have Washington at 15, Penn State at 14. I just think Matt Campbell's like just a good football coach. Like Iowa State was in it every year. Like they're not going to be anything top 10, but they're going to be right around 12, 13, 14. I have Alabama 13. I do think there's a real chance Kalen DeBoer gets fired, which I think would be interesting.
Yeah,
if he is a bad he's the guy.
Did you see that clip from that lady who was at the gas station? They were like, what would you do if you won the lottery? And she was like, well, I'd take the first $70 million and I'd buy out Kalen DeBoer's contract.
Like, this isn't Washington anymore, buddy. Like, this is Alabama. They expect excellence. Then I have Texas Tech at 12. Like, I don't even know what to think of them. The Big 12 is just so bad, and they have, like, the most oil money, so they're going to win. And then I have USC at 11. I'm a big believer in Mavia and Lincoln Riley.
Yeah, I don't hate that, right? We said USC could kind of ping pong anywhere. So I guess going in the top 10, right? Not too far off from what you guys. I have Alabama. I think their schedule favors them this year. I think they start the season very easily. Their first test isn't until week 6 with Georgia, which I think could really go either way. They then play Tennessee, who I don't think is going to be good. A&M, who could be a loss. LSU, right? Really a toss-up, and then that's kind of it. So they're definitely a 2-loss team, I think. they'll still be in that top 10. But I hadn't heard that take that maybe DeBoer would go out, but I agree with that. The standard is right. It is Alabama, right?
There were questions about him last year. I think they lost at least 2 of their games really early, and like I remember just watching like college football shows, and people were talking about like if he didn't have such a big buyout, like he probably would have been gone last year.
You can't lose to Florida State. You just can't.
Yeah.
So what do you guys think then? I guess this is a little fun exercise. If you're Alabama, what kind of season do you have to keep him? Like what denotes a successful season this year for Alabama? You think just a playoff?
Double-digit wins and win a playoff game.
Yeah, I think you got to beat Georgia.
Is that not what he did last year though? Double-digit wins and then won a playoff game against Oklahoma?
Yeah, and he kept his job. Like the Heat kind of went off.
You said to keep it. Like I think.
Yeah. You don't think so? He's not that much on the hot seat.
I think it's warm.
Yeah.
Who are they gonna hire though if they fire? Like who are they gonna bring in?
That's one of my
Bill O'Brien.
One of my college
Lane
football
Kiffin.
is better one.
College football is better than what? When Nick Saban comes back?
No, I'll save that take.
Okay. Well, you do that. So I guess we'll go kind of around. We'll just go one at a time. So that was my 10 where I have Alabama, and I'll let you guys give your 10th in the country if we want to get a little more in depth here.
I have Ole Miss at my 10. I think that Ole Miss is still going to be a good team this year. I think Trinidad's going to be a Heisman contender this year because I think they're going to win 10 games. And then, like Pat said earlier, Kawan Lacey is the best running back in the league. Like, not really a doubt in my mind that he is. And I also think that the players are just going to have a certain chip on their shoulder with Lane Kiffin leaving them and things like that. Like, they're going to want to be good again, and they're going to want to prove to everyone that it wasn't Lane Kiffin that was leading them to these wins. It was them. So, which is why I think that they're going to have a pretty solid year. I think they'll be back in the playoffs.
Yeah, I think that's literally just hate is going to power them all the way. I think they just want to show the world that they don't like Kiffin. They don't need Kiffin that like he needs him. So
I don't think
that.
I think what's his name? Pete. What's his name? Pete
Golding.
Golding.
Pete Golding.
Yeah, I think he's gonna be. I think he's a pretty good coach.
Hey, every good coach has a.
You muted yourself.
Who's the host of this podcast?
I got too excited talking about Pete Golding's DUI. I plugged my mic, so that's on me. But all right, fair enough. Ole Miss at 10. I like that.
I have Michigan. We talked about it, but I think they're like their roster wise. I think they're a top 10 team. Whether they turn out record wise, that's a different discussion. But I just think like if you're drafting rosters, they're in there.
Oh, you know who Bama should hire if they fired DeBoer? They should bring Urban Meyer back into the NCAA.
Yeah, because he did great at in Jacksonville, and his last stint.
It's a bad situation.
Patrick,
I guess I'll combine my 10 and 9 because I got a little more to talk about with 9. But I have LSU at 10.
9.
Texas at 9.
Like JJ McCarthy, like that.
JJ McCarthy.
9.
With LSU, like I don't know too much about their team. I know they brought in Sam Levitt, obviously Lane Kiffin. I looked it up. He brought in a total of 34 coaches and players from his Ole Miss staff, and that Ole Miss team was pretty good last year. But like that, we don't really know yet. They have a really tough schedule. That obviously SEC, but they play Alabama, Tennessee, Texas. They play Clemson early. That could be a hard game. And then going to Texas at 9. A lot of people have them ranked higher, and I initially did, but I saw some stuff this week that scared me a little bit. I'm not a big fan of Sark. Arch Manning, I think, will be better this year. I think he kind of grew into himself at the end of last season. Obviously, he struggled initially, but they just had a guy. I don't know if you guys saw this. There was a starting linebacker for them. I think his name was Ty Anthony Smith, and he got dismissed from the team for detrimental conduct. But his dad was like on Twitter and was saying like it's all politics there and it's some BS. So it kind of feels like there's something going down. I was also reading some Texas insiders, and there was like over 10 guys that were out for like a full week of practice because they had the flu. And this Ty Anthony Smith guy had the flu when Sark initially said that. So it seems like something's going on down there. I don't know what. So that's why I have them at 9. I think they have more talent. They obviously have some really good players. They brought in Cam Coleman from Auburn, who could potentially be the best wide receiver in the country. He might win the Biletnikoff. And then Colin Simmons at the edge is going to be like a top 5 pick. He's really good. But yeah, I don't have faith in their leadership there and their coaching staff. But obviously they play Ohio State early. That'll be a big game. We'll see how good they are. And yeah, that's my take.
And you had LSU at 10. Is that correct?
I had LSU at 10. Yeah.
And so I think it's worth noting, and we're going to get into this in episode 31, but Jack Pyburn left LSU last year, gets picked up as an undrafted free agent to the Jets, records 2 sacks last week in the Jets preseason game, and is now returned to LSU and been granted a 5th year of eligibility to play, and he will start on LSU's defensive line. Again, we're going to get into this in episode 31, but I mean, if LSU is bringing back NFL players, like we've lost the plot. Like obviously,
no, they brought back more. There was a guy.
There's a bunch of guys. It was
they got the Browns tight end.
yeah, like absolutely ridiculous stuff. But I did not know that that's what's going down at, I guess, the flu's. Yeah, flu's contagious, man. Right? Like, what are you gonna do?
I was kind of getting into the weeds there a little bit with Texas football, but
were you on the message boards? Did you?
Yeah, a little bit. I was on Reddit too, just trying to.
Everyone knows nobody lies on Reddit. So.
Well, I also have Texas at 9. I think that I just don't. And Jake's gonna hate me, but I just don't think Arch Mann's the guy. Like, he's just not the guy, and he's like, is that breakout that everyone's talked about? Like they said it was going to be last year. It didn't happen. Like, what? There's nothing leading me to believe that it's going to happen again this year. And the fact that they have to go to LSU, to Texas A&M, and then there's also they have to play Ohio State early in the year. Like, nothing's screaming this team is going to be what everyone's been saying they're going to be. And I just don't think that they're going to. I mean, will they win? I think this could be the year where Texas goes 9-3 and they do get into the playoff. Like, that's what I think is going to happen. I just don't think they're that good. And I have A&M right above them at 8 because there's nothing pointing to me that's saying I should put Texas over Texas A&M based off last year.
Well, I'll piggyback off your Texas take. I have their Red River rival at 9. I have Oklahoma. I think Mateer's pretty good. He is a little too jacked for my liking at quarterback. Like,
I heard people talking about that. I was like,
is
what?
that a real thing? What does that mean?
Yeah, like I like Doughy Boy as that quarterback, I guess. Like,
you know who would be a really good quarterback? Paul Skeens would be a nasty quarterback with that body.
And then they just signed Venables to a big extension. Like, I don't think he's that great of a coach, but Oklahoma, like, you're gonna get good players there. I just think they're a solid team. That's why I have them at 9.
I gotta disagree with you, Max. I think Arch is the guy. He had a tough right. So if you look after the Kentucky game, he threw for 14 touchdowns and 2 interceptions in the last 6 games. He beat 18 Michigan. He beat number 3 Texas A&M. He beat number 9 Vanderbilt, and his only loss was number 5 UGA. He threw for over 200 yards in every single game, but the A&M game, which he won anyway. I think Arch is your guy. I think this dude's making a Heisman run this year. He's had a full another year. I mean, if he catches the cold, like Pat said, like unbeknownst to me, I had no clue Texas had internal issues, but I think Arch is one of the best quarterbacks in college football.
Yeah, I mean, Pat, did you find out what it was that the detrimental contact was?
No, I couldn't figure out what that. So the Reddit people were saying it could have been like sipping on lean in the locker room. I don't know how much I buy that.
It's kind of tough.
Kind of detrimental to the team.
Start Peyton.
However, yeah, I couldn't quite figure out what it was.
That could give you the flu.
Yeah.
Everyone knows about the flu in August or July. It's dangerous out there.
Yeah, I mean, that might not be the hardest thing to believe. That if you remember, it was either last year or 2 years ago, the video got leaked in the Michigan locker room where they were hotboxing the dude's locker, like after a game or something. After a game they lost, actually. So, I mean, if they were sipping lean in the locker room, that doesn't.
You're telling me the Michigan football team had disciplinary problems? You're telling me that?
Allegedly. There's only video evidence. Nothing concrete, so I won't go any further. But so has everybody said they're 9, right?
Yeah.
Max, I guess I've not. So I have my 9 is Indiana. I think they're just bound for regression. I'm not a huge fan, and this is not a knock on them. I just think they just lost a lot of players. Of course, Mendoza. I don't think losing Mendoza is actually the worst thing in the world. I think Cignetti's system is really perfect for any quarterback, and that's not a knock on Mendoza. I just think they're going to put Josh Hoover into that exact same system, and I think he's going to do just fine. I just think, teams have now had 2 years to game plan for them. They have to play Ohio State again. I think Ohio State's like coming for them this year. I don't think that's going to be like an easy game for them by any means. And I don't know. I just can't see them being as good as they were last year. And not even that.
They'd have to go 16-0 and win the national championship to be as good as they were last year.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, like, I think they don't have a hard schedule, but I think, right, they get Michigan. I guess they get Nebraska, according to Pat, USC, Washington, Ohio State. Like, I could see them losing. I have them losing.
Do they miss Oregon this year?
They do. They do miss Oregon. But I have them losing to Ohio State and Washington because they have to go to Washington in late November, which is going to be an incredibly challenging environment. So, and that's not a knock. I think they'll make the college football playoff as an at-large team, in my opinion. I just don't think they're going undefeated, even dodging Oregon. So,
fair.
All right, you guys go. Who do you got for at 8?
I guess I'll go. I have Ohio State. I really don't think. I think they're the third best team in the Big Ten. I don't think Julian Sain's that good. Jeremiah Smith's really good. But I don't know. It's just like I can't. Ohio State used to have a bunch of guys I could name right off the bat. This year, like they don't have those guys, and I think Ryan Day is due for a letdown as he normally is. He had his big up a couple of years ago. Time to come back down.
So, like, you can't name Jeremiah Smith. He's not.
I said him and Sayin. I can't name anyone else.
What about the greatest running back of all time, Bo Jackson?
Yeah, Bo Jackson, number 20. He wears 25. Come on. I'm not too sure. I'm really
Rushed for
on
1,000
board
yards
with
as a true
Ohio
freshman.
State at 8.
This is also a biased take. I don't like Ohio State.
That's fair.
At least you're owning it. That's respect.
But yeah, they could be top 5, but I have them at 8.
I think that by the end of the year, there's only going to be 2 of Oregon, Ohio State, and Indiana in the top 5. So like, there's one of those teams isn't going to be top 5. So it could be that Ohio State's there, but I think that's a bad take.
Yeah, I think that's actually a horrible take.
At my 8, I have Texas A&M. I think that Marcel Reed is actually a very good quarterback. I mean, their playoff performance last year was maybe one of the worst playoff performances behind Michigan State when they made their sole appearance in the playoff. But like scoring 3 points against a Miami team where like if they had scored 11 points, they would have won. You know what I mean? Like it was just a bad performance. But I think they have a lot of tests this year, so it could be a disaster year for them. But I think that Marcel Reed could bring them to another very good season.
Yeah, I agree. I also have A&M at 8 there. Even last year, Marcel Reed was kind of a loose cannon, like pretty careless, and they still started 11-0. They have 6 AP top 25 preseason teams on their schedule, right? So they play Texas, they play Oklahoma.
They have some tough away games this year.
Yeah, it's going to be hard. Like going to Oklahoma is not fun. Going to Alabama,
going to LSU
is not fun. They get Kentucky at home, thank God, right? Because that we know Lexington could get
rowdy,
treacherous, I guess.
Lex Vegas.
You know what's actually a very underrated away game is South Carolina home crowds are unreal.
Yeah, they are rowdy. So it will be hard, but like I said, Marcel Reed was pretty shaky last year and still led them to an 11-0 start. The only reason I have them at 8 is they lost 4 of their starting O-line to the NFL. Of course, they Elko reloaded in the portal, but losing 4 NFL caliber linemen, you're bound to take a hit in the trenches. So for that reason, I'm going to stick them at 8. But I think this very well could be a team that catches fire and ends up maybe even in the top 5, especially with Marcel Reed having another year to develop.
Yeah, at 8, I have Ole Miss, and we already talked about them, and I agree with what you guys said. I think they're gonna come out. I think this was like kind of a revenge year for them. We talked about Chambliss, Lacey. So I'll go to 7. I have Oklahoma at 7. I actually like Brett Venables as a coach. I think he's a really good defensive guy. I mean, he was at Clemson for a while, obviously, when Clemson was good, and his defenses were always like very good there. They returned 14 starters from their team last year, which was a solid team. And then I'm a big John Mateer fan. He was actually, I don't know if you guys remember, but like midway through the season, he was like the Heisman favorite.
Yeah,
And then he kind
broke
of,
his
I think he
thumb
got
or whatever.
hurt or something. Yeah, and then he fell
just
off a little bit.
thumb.
But
You got too jacked.
yeah,
This
too
dude
much.
jacked.
Nah,
too much time
he wasn't doughy enough, I guess.
Too much creatine.
And they got a couple studs on the defensive line. I forget, one of their DNs, I think, was a preseason All-American this year.
David Stone or something like
Yeah,
that.
yeah, that
He's a
sounds right.
force.
So yeah, I think they're going to be pretty solid. I have them at 7.
Fair. I like that.
At my 7, I have LSU. Do I like Lane Kiffin? Not really. Do I think he's a really good coach? Yeah, I do think he's a really good coach. So I think he's gonna lead him to a good year this year. The only doubts I have is all the transfers he's bringing in. Just the fact that can they mesh well together and perform, I guess. I think Sam Levitt's a really good addition. I think he's a very good quarterback. He performed really well at, was he Arizona State?
Yeah.
He was good there. So I think they have a really high ceiling, but I also think that their floor could be pretty low just based on if the transfers don't pan out.
That's fair. I mean, Kiffin, I also admittedly I don't like him at all, but I don't think you can deny he definitely knows what he's doing. I mean, it's also worth noting that LSU's roster is valued at on par with Texas at like $45 million this year, which is absolutely nuts. But I can really see him being up there. I have at my 7, I have Texas Tech going undefeated in the Big 12. We kind of already talked about this. They dodge BYU and Utah. Their hardest game on their schedule is probably going to be, I think it's going to be Oklahoma State, maybe Arizona. They get to play Arizona State, but like you just said, Max, right? They lost Levitt, they lost Scat. That was basically their entire offense. They play Houston, but I think they're going to take care of that. I think they go 12-0 through the Big 12. Will Hammond is now their quarterback after the whole Sorsby drama. He's backed up there for 2 years, so he definitely knows the system. I think he's going to be fine. I don't think he's going to really be tested until maybe the Big 12 chip. I have them beating BYU. Like that will probably be their first game where they won't be favored, in my opinion. They also have the best linebacking core in the nation. I think all 3 of their linebackers could win the Butkus Award. Ben Roberts, Austin Romaine, John Curry. Right, Roberts, former freshman All-American, led the team in tackles. He's like their box-to-box middle linebacker guy. Romaine plays on that weak side, hits every B gap, and then Curry's kind of just their depth rotation guy. He's massive, like 6'3", 240. I think Texas Tech's defense, again, is going to be their strong suit. We saw how poor that offense performed, but I mean, if we're strictly talking regular season, I think Texas Tech has the easiest schedule in the country for a Power 4 team.
Yeah, I have them at 6 for the same reasons. Also the oil money, as we mentioned earlier.
And they got bread.
Yeah, so I have Miami at 7. It's kind of by default. Like, I think they're going to win the ACC, go undefeated. I don't love Mensa. I mean, I think he's pretty good. He was good at Duke. Malachi Tony's good. Fletcher's good. Their defense probably pretty good. I think they'll be like right in that 5 to 8 range. And then at 6, I have a team we haven't really gotten to yet, which is Georgia. I have them lower than the AP than a lot of people. I just don't see it with Gunnar Stockton. Like when I watch him play, like he just seems like a Stetson Bennett, which I know Stetson Bennett did well for Georgia, but I think nowadays, especially with NIL, you need a quarterback that can make all the throws, that can lead his team to victory and not just be a passenger. And I'm not sure if Gunnar Stockton is that guy.
I mean, he's definitely not as technically gifted, but this dude, if you watch him, 3rd down conversions, 4th down, this dude will put his life on the line for Georgia. And I think you have to give him some credit there. Like, he's probably not the most talented passer, but I think when your roster is as talented as Georgia, I don't think your quarterback has to be anything special. I think he just has to be able to make the throws he needs to make. And
yeah, I think you just need him to be a game manager. Like, just don't do anything stupid with the ball.
You could hand the ball off every play for every drive, and you'd probably be just fine. So
I have the same.
I don't know if I agree.
I have the same kind of notes on Georgia. I think Gunnar Stockton, like what I wrote down was that he gives me more questions than answers. Like, he's not going to be that good, but like it's hard to bet against Kirby Smart and then defense that they always have. And like if Gunnar Stockton plays like an average SEC quarterback, I think they'll run through the SEC pretty easily.
Yeah, I think that's fair. I have Texas here. This is before the cold flu information that I just learned of about 30 minutes ago. So maybe they're going to be a little lower. But I mean, if you want to talk, you already heard what I said about Arch Manning. I think he's one of the best quarterbacks in college football. I think Ryan Wingo is one of the best receivers in college football. They have Colin Simmons, one of the best defensive players at the edge rushing position in college football. Derek Williams Jr., Jelani McDonald, both seniors in their secondary. They have that the veteran presence they need. They don't have the toughest SEC schedule in the world. They have to play A&M, LSU, Ole Miss, Oklahoma, and then maybe Tennessee. But really for the SEC, I don't think that's as bad as other teams like Oklahoma. Of course, they play Ohio State week 2. That'll be interesting. I know it kind of derailed their season a little bit last year, taking that early season loss. I know they lost. Did they lose 3 straight or 2 straight in that early season skid with or no, they lost the opener to OSU and then they lost to Florida a couple weeks later.
Yeah.
But I think they lose to Ohio State this year, but I don't really see them having any problems with this SEC schedule. I don't see any teams here outside of LSU or Ole Miss that I'm really too terrified of. Maybe Oklahoma, but I think that this is probably Sark's best roster, and I think he'll do fine.
I actually really like Sark. I just don't think he's that good of a coach. Like, I think he's a good guy. I just don't know if he's like a good coach.
Fair, but you don't get points for being a good guy.
You do in my book. Am I you're at 6?
Yeah,
Yeah,
6.
I have Miami here. I think they're just like you guys said. They're gonna run the table in the ACC. No one's gonna stop them. Mensa just has to perform average. He has to play like Carson Beck. Like Carson Beck wasn't that good. He wasn't bad, honestly. But like they're gonna easily win the ACC, and I don't know where that puts like where the committee will rank them based off an undefeated ACC win. Like, where does that? That's actually a good question. Like, where do you think that gets you in the rankings?
I think just based on last year, I'll get them pretty high.
You think?
Yeah.
I think they have to respect that it's a Power 4 conference and that they had the run, and then just kind of looking at. And I think they also get a lot of respect, even though if it's a weak schedule, they're going to dismantle probably every team. And I think.
What do you think will happen though if the Miami goes 12-0, wins the ACC, and Notre Dame goes undefeated? Like, who do you think they'll rank higher?
Notre Dame. They love
Notre Dame. Notre Dame just signed the little agreement last year that says if Notre Dame finishes in the top 12, no matter what, they get an at-large bid. So if that doesn't tell you that, the college football committee. Well, we don't even have to worry about them because BC is going to beat them in South Bend, and their season's going to be over. But yeah, Notre Dame gets ranked higher probably in every universe. So I mean. But I think Miami gets respect because they deserve that respect.
I guess speaking of Notre Dame, I have them at 5. First of all, I like Marcus Freeman. I think he's a great person. I also think he's a really good coach. Went to a great college, good player in college. I think they have the best cornerback in college football, Leonard Moore. I saw a stat. There was a guy, I think he was from St. Louis, but his name was Christian Gray. He was the other corner last year, and they literally stopped throwing to Leonard Moore and just targeted Christian Gray, and he had like almost triple his targets because teams would just not throw to Leonard Moore. Similar to Arch, I think CJ Carr got better as the season went on last year. I think he's going to be good. I do have questions about their running back. I don't know who their running back is. Obviously, Jeremiah Love's a big loss, but I feel like like looking at Notre Dame, they always have a really good offensive line first of all, and then good defensive line. Like their line's always really good. So I think they'll be number 5. I also like Jordan Faison, lacrosse guy too. Or is it Faison? I don't remember.
And his
But
little brother,
yeah, that's true.
Dylan Faison.
Yeah, I think he's a good shifty receiver. So yeah, I think they'll be fun to watch this year at least.
All right, yeah, 5. I have Oregon. I think their roster is loaded. Dante Moore is really good. They have a lot of weapons.
They have Dylan Raiola if needed.
That is true, but underrated. They did lose their OC to one of the best jobs in the country in Lexington at Kentucky. So I think that's a big loss, and it's hard to replace coordinators now. Everyone leaves as soon as they get a big job, and I just think they won't take a major step back. Like I have them at 5, but I don't think they'll be a top 2, top 3 team. I think they'll trip up along the way.
That's interesting. I mean, who do you think they trip up to on their schedule? Because I know
I have to pull it up, but
I can pull it up for you here. So they get Boise State, which is always good. Oklahoma State. They get Oregon. I'm pretty sure.
They are
Oregon. Not Oregon. Sorry.
Oregon plays Oregon.
They get USC, UCLA. They get Pat Bloomquist, Nebraska, and then Ohio State, Michigan State, and Washington. So I mean,
I could see them losing at USC. Like I don't think that means a lot. And it's not there yet. Can Dan Lanning win the big one? He's had a lot of good teams.
No, Oregon's never going to win a natty. At least not in the next 10 years.
I don't know about that.
Well, I have Miami at my 5. We already talked about this. I don't need to spend too much time on it, but just what Pat said, right? They lose a lot of production. I think at quarterback they actually improve with Darian Mensah, but I just think they have too many pieces to replace with them. To Maxwell, you said they also have a very weak ACC schedule. So for that reason, I have them going undefeated and then finishing at 5.
Yeah, my 5, I have Indiana, and I think I have Georgia right above them at 4. I think they're both kind of in the same boat. Like, if their quarterbacks can just give them some production, like Josh Hoover, don't really know how good he's gonna be, but if he can give them some production, like Signetti's system is elite. It's elite. Mm-hmm. Like if he can just play how Mendoza played, like he's not gonna be as good as Mendoza, but if he can just do that, like they're gonna be a good team. I think they could slip up against other big teams. Like I don't think they'll have the same consistency they had last year, beating Oregon and Ohio State and teams like that. But I think they're still going to be a pretty good Big Ten team this year.
Yeah, I mean, I like that. I have Georgia at my 4. Again, we've already talked about this, right? Quarterback's always an interesting thing. I'm interested to see what they do with the Mass native Ryan Puglisi from Avon Old Farms. He's been backing up there for a couple years, and I wouldn't really be surprised if he gets some run this year. Georgia's SEC schedule is also, I think, an absolute joke compared to other teams. They only get Oklahoma, Bama, and Ole Miss are the only 3 games, and I think they're going to handle all of those teams and probably repeat in the SEC, in my opinion. So not too much to say there. I think they have the perfect road to a bye in the college football playoff.
Yeah. Piggybacking off that at number 4, I have LSU. I'm a big guy. I think Sam Leavitt has a chance to win the Heisman this year. I really do. That offense will open it up for him. I think he was the best quarterback in the portal. And that roster, like you said, they spent close to $50 million on it. They got the left tackle Seaton from Texas or from Colorado. He'll be a top 10 pick. I just really like that roster, and I just think Lane's due to have one of these big runs. He's now at a blue blood school, if you want to call it that, but this isn't Ole Miss. This is LSU. Football really matters there, and I think top 4 first round bye, and I really think national championships in the cards.
That's aggressive. I'm gonna say it's ambitious.
I don't mind it.
I don't mind. I don't love it. I don't hate it. But
I have Oregon at 4. We talked a little about them. I love Dan Lanning. I think he's similar to Marcus Freeman, Missouri boy as well. Dante Moore's good, not great. I want to highlight, I think they might have the best running back room in the country. They have Jordan Davison and De'Aaron Hill Jr. I think De'Aaron Hill Jr., he's like technically the backup, but that guy's a stud. Like he's so shifty. He's from the St. Louis area, and he broke like all the he broke like all the records of like Kyron Williams and Zeke's records in like the St. Louis area. So I think he's a really talented player. He had a good season last year. I think that running back room is going to be explosive, and I think it's going to open up the passing game for them. Yeah, they have a really good tight end too. I forget his name. He's a preseason All-American. But yeah,
Fair.
I'll look it up. Damari Johnson's the tight end.
All right. I have at my 3 here. Right? Has everyone done 4 so far? Actually, got that.
Yeah, I said
3. 3. I'm taking Oregon. I think they're going to be really good. Right? They have a tougher schedule. I think Oklahoma State will pose a challenge. USC, Ohio State. I have them losing to Ohio State. I think that's probably going to be their only loss this season. But obviously I'm going to have OSU higher than them just for that reason. But it really could go either way. I think Oregon's either a 1-loss or an undefeated team. It's going to come down to November 7th at Ohio State. I just have them losing because it's in the shoe. So I think it's one of the hardest places to play in late November or early November, I guess. So for reasons that have already been stated about their roster, we know how talented it is, and we know how Dan Lanning works, but I'm going to have them at 3.
I also have Oregon at 3. I think that they're going to be a good team. You kind of touched on all the points I was going to make, but I think that, Dante Moore is going to get the job done. I think he's a good player, and like Pat said, their running back room is really good. So,
yeah. I have Notre Dame at 3. First, it's just a joke of a schedule. Like, they need to join a conference. This is ridiculous. Like, they think they're all high and mighty, but what they're most famous for is Rudy and Manti Te'o. Like,
but why would Notre Dame ever join a conference? They have no incentive to.
Yeah, they just think they're better than everyone else. But
no, it's just smart. Do you know how much money?
Don't defend Notre Dame.
I'm going to defend Notre Dame. When Notre Dame went to the national championship, them and Ohio State made $25 million. They lost by maybe 2 scores. They made 25.
What do they have to show for it?
They made $25 million. Ohio State then had to take their $25 million and share it with all 18 teams in the Big Ten, which came out to like $1.3 million or whatever that is a team. Notre Dame took all $25 million and kept it for themselves. You can't tell me joining a conference. They also get, why would you ever join a conference? You get preferential treatment from the committee. Like, you get to pick an easy schedule. Like,
dude, the greed you're talking about right now is unreal. Like, the greed is crazy.
I will say though,
I think you're just jealous. If any of your teams were in their position, you would defend them with your life. Don't say you wouldn't.
CJ Carr is a force, though. I have him top 3 Heisman contender. I really think he's going to be up there. He just the way he throws the ball, it's just like, I don't know. It's like Drake May. It's like a perfectly thrown football.
And is he a little doughy? He's a little chubby.
He is a little doughy.
Okay.
Yeah, but Notre Dame, they're going to be there. They play no one. If they lose a game, that's a freaking joke. Like, they should be demoted to FCS if they lose with that schedule.
I think their only hard team is Miami, and I think
exactly, and they should beat Miami. But yeah.
At 3, I have Ohio State.
That's actually shocking.
Yeah, that is.
That is shocking.
So I would have them 1. However, as I mentioned earlier, I'm not sold on Julian Sand. I think he's good, but specifically, last year in the playoff, I don't know if I'm like kind of a nerd about Ohio State a little bit, but like after they lost to Miami, I was kind of looking what went wrong. Obviously, our O-line, Miami's defensive line was just blown by the Ohio State O-line, but there are multiple plays on film where Julian Sand has wide receivers completely wide. I think Carnell Tate, they're in their own 10. They're at the 10. Carnell Tate runs a slant, like wide open, burns his guy by like 4 steps, and Sand just doesn't see him, throws a check down, maybe for a couple yards. And that was a couple times in the game where he missed his read. So I'm really concerned with his pocket presence and like his ability to step up in big games. Obviously, he beat Michigan last year, which was good, but I'm not sold on him, and that's why I have them at 3. This offseason, though, it seemed like he put in some work. People were saying he put on like 20 to 30 pounds of muscle in the weight room, got bigger because he was pretty skinny last year. So that's exciting to see. Obviously, they have the best player in the country, Jeremiah Smith. That guy's a stud. Bo Jackson coming back, true freshman running back last year, ran for over 1,000 yards. And then I don't know how much they'll play this year, but we were talking about names. Just early prediction. They've got two. One's like a running back wide receiver hybrid. His name's Legend Bay.
What a
that
name.
guy's
That's
gonna
a
be
sick
name.
name.
I think he's going to be disgusting. Like that guy might be the next he might be the next Malachi Tony. Like that's kind of his player comp. And then another guy named Brock Boyd. He's a true freshman wide receiver this year. He got his black stripe off, which is like basically like to get on the team quicker than Jeremiah Smith did. He got it in like 4 practices or something like that. And supposedly he's a really good route runner, like just can get open. And then Brandon Innes is a senior captain this year. He's wearing the block out. He's kind of been quiet at his time at Ohio State, but he's a good leader, and you could see him having a breakout year. They return a lot of guys on their offensive line who were good last year. Their defense is a bigger question mark. I think they lost like 8 starters to the draft. They only return a couple players, but obviously Matt Patricia is a really good coach. I think he'll have a really good scheme. They returned Kenyatta Jackson, who should have been a preseason All-American, got snubbed a little bit there. And then they have Arthur Smith at the OC position, which will be – I actually like that hire. Obviously, we know about his time in the NFL, but I think he can be a really good college coach. It seems like him and Ryan Day have a good relationship. And last year, we obviously had Brian Hartline at offensive coordinator, and that was first season for him. And there were some question marks about his decision-making and play-calling ability, even despite his ability to recruit wide receivers. So, yeah, I'm excited for that change. I think the team has potential to win a national championship, but I have them at 3, mainly because I'm not convinced on Julian Stanton.
Yeah, I like that. I have them at 2. Like you said, they lost 8 starters, but programs like Ohio State is just rebuild and reload, right? They're going to fill those spots with talent that's just maybe not as good as like the Sonny Styles or the Caleb Downs, but right, still, top tier in the college football, world. I have them at 2 and not 1, just because they have a tougher schedule. There's more areas for them to slip up, right? They have that early season Texas game that you have to play. You have to go to Iowa, which is hard. You have to go to Indiana, which is hard. You have to go to USC. You have to play Oregon late season. And then, of course, you play Michigan in the game, which can always be, as we've seen before, right? Even bad Michigan teams still can play well. So I think they can win a natty. I would have them at 1 for every reason Pat just said. I just think there's too many places that they can potentially slip up compared to my number 1, 2.
Yeah, my 2, I have Notre Dame in my 2. I mean, I thought it was pretty flip-flop between that and Ohio State. I just think CJ Carr is going to have a really good year. I think that, like we've already talked about, their schedule is so weak. Like, if they lose a game, they shouldn't be in the playoff kind of thing. Like, they will be, obviously. But if they lose a game, why should they be in the playoff? That's my thing. They have a lot of guys returning, and I just think that they're going to kind of roll through and probably be in the top 5, top 3 every week of this AP poll. So,
my 2, I have Texas. I'm a big Arch guy, always have been.
Respect.
did you put a future in on them yet?
Not yet. They will be going in for the 3rd straight year.
Yep.
Yeah, and so they have Cam Coleman from Auburn, who I think is better than Jeremiah Smith, personally.
No.
And they have
Jake,
Ryan
did you see that?
Linda.
Did you see that
What?
clip of him? Did you see the clip of him making that like one-hand grab?
Well, yeah, he's awesome.
Yeah, and then everyone was like, "Who did Arch Man
Who threw that ball?"
But it's Texas that they have the best roster. I just looked. They have 6 or 7 top 2-round projected picks. Goodsby at left tackle. I think he's hurt a little right now, but he'll be all right.
Might have the flu.
Colin Simmons, and they have some other linebackers projected to go in the 2nd round.
I think Rasheem Biles.
Yeah, they're going to be a force again. Arch, in the last 3 weeks of the regular season, was the best quarterback in the country.
I would say last 6.
Yeah, he was after that Kentucky game. Kentucky taught
we
him
know
a lesson. And he turned it
Lexington's a tough
around.
place to play.
Tough place
Is that
to
where it
play.
was?
And so, but I really do think this is Texas' year. They're not my number 1 team, but I'll just leave it at that. And I think Horns up, Longhorn Nation. We're back.
We're back. So I guess we're going into number ones now, right? Is everyone?
I have Georgia at 2. I don't need to
Okay,
go
there you
too
go.
in
Go ahead.
depth. I'm a big Kirby guy. I agree with the Gunnar Stockton take. But I just, as I said earlier, I think he just needs to manage the game. I think they're going to have a great defense. They return was KJ Bolden, who is probably one of the best safeties in the country. Elias Robinson, another good corner. They have good linebackers. I think there's some question marks on their D line, but knowing Kirby, he'll get those guys good, if not great. And yeah, we can get 1 now.
Awesome. Yeah. I mean, so alluding to the title here, it is our way too early CFP top 25. Does Boston College earn a spot? No.
It's not even that early
not.
anymore.
It's going to be Notre Dame for reasons we've already stated. Probably the easiest schedule in the country. They have probably, I think, maybe the best roster in the country. And then you just pair that with the fact that the only hard game they have to play is a home game against Miami in November, which heavily favors them, in my opinion, versus a Miami team that's just not going to be as good as they were.
Home game against BC too.
Hey, BC could if Notre Dame loses to BC, you are not a BC fan.
I go there.
You're not a BC fan.
Does that make you guys the Catholic University of
the world?
The United States?
Yes, it's the battle for to be the Pope's right hand man. But I think if BC beats Notre Dame, they actually should be barred from the college football playoff.
What will you do if BC beats Notre Dame? Can we get this on
right here, right now?
He's gonna go to Circle. He's gonna go to Circle
and wait in line for 2 hours. If BC, all right, I will do this. Let's see. If BC goes to South Bend in November and beats Notre Dame, what's a good forfeit?
I'll get a buzz
that
cut.
I could do. Yeah, I'll get a buzz. I will buzz my hair. I will jump in the reservoir, and I will run naked around campus for a while.
No,
Whoa,
I don't know.
That's illegal.
Whoa.
You heard
Maybe
it
in my
first,
underwear.
folks. GLG
Maybe in my underwear.
going to prison.
I will go to prison if BC beats Notre Dame. Absolutely. And I will get a buzz cut, and I'll go swim in the res. And
If
I don't know what other
BC beats Notre Dame, you have to buy UMass season tickets next year.
I have to
go to every game.
You know, yeah. You know what? There actually, I like that. If BC
But you're not
wins,
allowed to.
I will
you're
buy
not allowed
UMass
to
season
drink at the
tickets.
games, so you just have to watch.
All right, yeah.
Stay all 4 quarters.
Yeah. Hey, I have done that. I guess we won't get into that. But yes, there you go. My number 1 team, I think, to no surprise, should be Notre Dame.
I have Ohio State as my number 1. I mean, you guys are talking this Julian saying not going to be that good. I think he's a pretty good quarterback. I think he's got all the tools to be a good quarterback. I think he'll learn a lot from last season, and it helps when you have the best wide receiver that we'll see all year on your team. He's so good. It's Cam Coleman's not even close to him in my opinion.
The little boy.
Yeah, it's
I can't believe that was said by Jake, by the way.
Like Pat was saying, their defense does have a lot of holes to fill, but I don't think it'll be too much to overcome. I still think they're going to I think they'll go 12-0 this year. And I don't know if they'll make the run in the playoff, but I think they're going to be the number 1 team from week 1 to week 15.
So you have them winning the Big Ten?
I have them win. I don't know who they're going to play in it. I could be a number of teams, but I hope they play Iowa or something. That'd be fun.
Michigan State.
Yeah.
Michigan.
If Michigan State makes the conference championship this year, I think I'll move to Michigan.
You move to East Lansing?
I would. I drink the Lansing water.
My number 1 team is Indiana. You're not the best until you beat the best, and they're the reigning champs. I think my biggest hot take of the year is they got better at quarterback. If you look at the numbers before Mendoza got to Indiana, he had 30 touchdowns in the previous 2 years. Well, Josh Hoover had 56. I think in that.
Yeah, but he was playing in the Big 12. It's so much different.
Yeah.
Mendoza played at Cal.
And
yeah,
and the Pac-12, when that was the Pac-12, was gritty.
Yeah, and so I just think Charlie Becker there, Nick Marsh, I believe, out on the flank as well.
Michigan State guy.
That O line is ridiculous too. I think his name's Carter Smith, their left tackle. They're gonna win that award again, the best offensive line. And
Yeah.
Signetti, he's just a hell of a coach. Like
He's a
Luke was
dog.
talking up a former JMU coach. He's a former JMU coach. He's daunted, and I really do think they have a chance to go back to back this
But
year.
we are out on Signetti, by the way, because they're out of conference shenanigans. If we want to make fun of Notre Dame, we're going to make fun of Indiana.
Nah, if
'Cause
anything, it's smart. There's no reason to do it.
Everyone does it.
Exactly.
That not everybody. What Texas plays Ohio State.
That's
Right,
like a
and you-
one-off thing. That's a one-off.
And they regret that.
Yeah,
and
Texas definitely
Oklahoma,
regrets that.
Oklahoma plays Michigan. Like I can't respect Indiana right now for backing out of the Notre Dame series. I think that's unbelievably soft. And then they pick up Old Dominion instead.
Notre
of
Dame's lucky.
Hey,
Indiana,
Michigan State plays Notre Dame this year. They're revamping the rivalry. It's going to be a good game.
I just saw that clip. What was that? 2010, the fake field goal in OT.
Yeah, to win it.
Who threw
That's what's
that?
going to
or
happen
whatever
this
kicker?
year.
Okay. Hey, nobody remembers the best shootout last year was BC at Michigan State.
That was a great
Overtime.
game. I don't
40
remember the second half, but it was a
40
great game.
42-40. All right, Pat, what do you
Also,
got
wait,
here?
before
Oh,
you
go
go,
ahead.
I want to ask Jake just if he remembers where Sam Levitt started his career.
I think Michigan State, right?
Correct. Correct. Mel
I was gonna say,
Tucker
there's
recruited
That's
him.
why it's so good.
Mel
Just-
Tucker
I was gonna say,
recruited
there's
him.
probably one answer if you're asking.
Talk
that
about a
question.
guy who loves NIL. Sam Levitt. That recruitment was something.
I agree with what Jake said. I have Indiana at 1, mainly because they won the national championship, and I think any team that wins the national championship should just be preseason number 1. I don't care who you lost, even though I don't think they're actually the best team. But I have them at 1. I really like Kurt Signetti. We already talked about Nick March, Charlie Becker. What I did hear, though, my brother goes to TCU, and I asked him about Josh Hoover.
More
and
insider info. Here we
He's
go.
not a fan of Josh Hoover, which like I thought Hoover was fine. So that's I didn't really get a reason why he's like he sucks. Like I'm sure, whatever.
He's
I
no
looked
Max
it up.
Duggan.
Yeah, exactly. I think he's a little wild like with the ball. I think he throws a lot of picks or maybe not a lot, but throws picks, like makes bad decisions. I think that's kind of what he was getting at. But yeah, I'll be curious to see how he does in that offense.
I'm just not buying Indiana stock. I'm really
You
not.
have to put him at. They won the chip.
And they lost so many players. They lost the Heisman. And I get that. Like I said it myself, I think he was kind of a game manager at times, but I don't know. I think I'm done with Sig. We're out on him. I don't like him anymore. It got corny. Like I don't know. I don't like Indiana.
Daunted.
I don't like what they did with their out of conference schedule. I think it's really soft. I just lost a lot of respect for him. And if I don't respect you, I can't rank you at 1. So, I got a lot of respect for Notre Dame. And if they would play Indiana, if Indiana played them, yeah, you see where I'm coming from. But I can't respect the Hoosiers. Sorry. And every Hoosier fan was also Notre Dame fan like 3 years ago. So like, it's a plastic fan base. We saw their home games 3 years ago. I mean, they're all.
I went to
Fairweather
one
fans.
like 4 years ago. It was
Did you really?
Yeah. I went
Who
to
were they playing?
Indiana
Ohio
game.
State.
Yeah.
Ask Maxwell
Actually-
about the last Ohio State game he drove to.
That was the worst experience of my entire life.
Can you walk us through that really quick?
It was like week. What year? 2021. It was week.
Yeah.
13 or 14. Michigan State is 10-1, or no, it might have been earlier. It was like they were like 8-1, and Ohio State was 9-0, and like Michigan State was number 7, Ohio State was number like 2. And one of our buddies is a big Ohio State fan, so we drove out for the game like with their family. I sat in the back of their SUV, like it is the most uncomfortable seat ever for 7 or 8 hours. We get there, we go into the game, and at halftime, I think it was 49-0 or something like that. It was terrible. It was actually like the worst. And I was walking by like Ohio State fans in the stadium, and they were like, basketball season's coming up, buddy. Don't worry. Like, it's going to be all right, man. Yeah, it was bad.
All righty. Well, that wraps that up. Thank you guys for coming on. Everybody will be back for episode 31 which is another little college football preseason, but that's all we have for now. So thank you guys for coming on. I appreciate your time for a longer episode here. Remember, Apple, Spotify, YouTube, and Substack. Follow us on Instagram at Greenline Gazette, and we will see you next time.